Hey everyone, it's Palmer here from the Penny Stock Quest. Saturday morning, I think it's July 21st, 2017, and finally had my connectivity issues were a little better on Friday, and I had a window replacement in the office, so I was out of pocket for a couple days there, but I'm wondering I might start using the Interactive Brokers trading app to put trades in sometimes because that seems to be a more reliable connection. In the building where I am, I have maybe one bar sometimes for connectivity, and it drops down to 3G, which can be a real pain in the ass. But sometimes, but with the fills on the phone app, they actually seem to be a lot faster, and I guess they should be. But so I use Thinkorswim for charts and trade through IB, but um, I might look into getting I have Verizon where I am, and the signal is fine. Just in the building where my location is, the signal can be crappy. And if anybody knows about that Verizon signal booster, that the people that have owned it have bought it from Verizon, they give it about 4 out of 5 stars. So if anybody else has had um, success with that, let me know, and because I'm probably going to get it. But if you want to discuss any of the videos or trading recaps, I have a discussion page on my website. It might be easier to find the threads people are talking about. If anybody's interested, just all I ask is that you note the video number from the YouTube channel and just enter it here. But I made some comments that I was uh, in the chat room sometimes more than actually trading because of connections. But either way, Friday we had a little bit of time and made a few trades. But so for those trades in particular, here's a screenshot of what I did Friday. If you want to freeze this and make notes to verify whatever, that's up to you. But it is, I don't lie about this stuff. There's really no reason to. If you're hiding behind what you're doing or making up stuff, then you're not trading. You're just blowing smoke. So either way. So I had 4 trades on Friday. Some were continuation plays, and some were new stuff. Some were things that I probably shouldn't have done, realized after the fact. But I scratched out $200 and change, which doesn't seem, it's not a whole lot, but end of the day green. I know guys and girls with 6-figure accounts that only sometimes make a couple $100 a day on huge accounts, but ending the day in green is where you want to be. But I think it's more important to end the week in green. I think trading is like if you're trying to lose weight, you don't want to watch it every day. You want to do it weekly, for results, that sort of thing. But either way, scratched out something. This was the first one was OPGN. I got in on this. This was on the 20th on Thursday. Actually, so today's the 22nd. Wait, today's July 22nd, 2017, because this is Friday's price action. All right, I need to buy a watch. OPGN, they had completed an offering, and they had a previous deal with Pfizer, I believe. Not Pfizer, it was another pharmaceutical big name. And not a deal, but I think they were in collaboration with, their name escapes me. But this 5-minute chart was making this U pattern. And on Thursday, you had this massive spike in volume, and which started happening again. So I got in just because of the volume coming in. This was a small play because nothing was definite. It was 1,000 shares, and I got in at 36. I was hoping that it was going to retest this, this 56 area or 55, whatever you want to call it, on that massive volume spike. And I gave it until the next day. It topped out at the previous high. So, 1,000 shares, I think I lost $10 something like that. And so I got in at, where'd we get in? Well, I got out at 35.60. These times are an hour off, by the way, because this is reporting in Eastern time and I'm Central time. So this should be actually 9:21 and 9:35 and 9:14 and 6:40. But so subtract an hour from those times, you see. I got to reset that in the IB account statement. Anyway, so we double topped and big selling on the open. So I just got out. I didn't want to hold this. I don't like holding stuff that's not moving. It ties up funds, and I've been a bag holder once or twice and don't feel like doing that even on a small position, because there's no logic to why you're holding it in the first place. So that was the first close of the day. I made 4 trades. Plug was moving after hours or pre-market also. Let me go to a 1 minute chart. I usually trade off the 2 minute chart. Sometimes it depends on the trend, the way things are moving. And so it depends on the trend, depends on the volume coming in. If you 1, 2, and 5 minute charts, they're going to look a little different, and they probably clean things up a little bit. Either way, Plug had a deal with Walmart. Walmart acquired, or not acquired, they maintained, or 53 million shares or something like that. But I think Walmart already had a stake in Plug to begin with. All right, so this is kind of old news, or a rehash or restatement of what's going on with the two of them. So Plug was getting big volume, and I think it put in more than 1 million shares traded pre-market. All right, so that's where you want to take note of. And this, here's the initial spike that 6 o'clock or so, and some days I am in front of the computer. If I'm holding a position, Interactive Brokers opens up at 3 o'clock in the morning Central Time, where you can start trading pre-market. And on other platforms, I know with Thinkorswim, they open up at 7 o'clock pre-market. All right, so if you're holding a position overnight and it's running in the morning, you can manage it from there, starting at 3 o'clock. Some other brokers, I'm not sure, E-Trade, I don't know when they open. Centerpoint, they're probably open 24 hours a day. I have no idea. I'd like to find out soon, if you know what I mean. But it depends on, I've had positions with Thinkorswim that I was green on, but couldn't get out of them until pre-market opened up. I didn't lose money, but I lost. I did lose money. Trade still ended up green, but it was ticking down a few $100s, and I couldn't get out until the things opened up. But anyway, this is I got in on Plug. You have the initial run up. I was waiting for some kind of dips. Pre-market is kind of very iffy trading as far as the fills and the movement, and if prices are going to hold, really hard to read. It can be hard to read. Indicators pretty much are crap if you use them. So you pretty much just try to go on what the volume in the chart is telling you at the time. Unless there is a massive, massive amount of volume coming in to a stock where the pre-market chart pretty much looks like the regular trading hours chart, then if you use indicators to identify whatever you use to identify them with, that pre-market chart has a look and feel of the regular trading hours, but most of the time you have kind of erratic price action. But either way, on Plug, I got in at about 6:40, and I was in before 10. Yay! So I think Mr. Sykes got in at, I want to say he got in at 2:42, sometime in this area. And what's interesting is this is 7 o'clock. All right, I'm going to highlight this, and this is where Thinkorswim is available. TD Ameritrade has their pre-market opening. So that's an important thing to know, because those account holders, if they want to trade pre-market, they're going to be looking this is 7 o'clock. And if you notice, you have, I don't know if I can do this much zoomed in this much. You see, here we are, 7 o'clock is right here. You have a few little blips in volume, but at 7 o'clock, I don't know what time E-Trade opens up or other accounts or other brokers. You see volume picks up a little bit more after 7 o'clock. All right, so pre-market, if you have the ability to trade before 7, depending on how things are going on, you might want to wait till see where the volume starts coming in, because I know a lot of people have TD Ameritrade, and I did have them. I still use them for charts because I think they're the best charts available. I still have a few bucks in there, so everything's still real time. But note that 7 o'clock time. All right, if you are with IB or a different broker, this is where the volume starts coming in because just because of that. So I believe price was holding. This stuff doesn't shake me out. It was only a 500 share position because pre-market is so iffy. I was gonna monitor things at the beginning to see if I wanted to add to the position, get out, or just look for a dip, whatever. But so I think Mr. Sykes got in about here, and things started heating up about 30 minutes before the open, and we started hitting this top, and it was getting these, they used to have a tendency to tank at the open, so this is all a matter of selling into strength. That was 20, where did I get out of there? This is probably going too long. I got in at 237, got out at 259. So towards the top, 20 cents, get out. And then rest of the day, here's your big volume selling at the open, and it gives everything back as far as where I got in. All right, so be smart. The same old, sell into strength. So you're not going to pay the mortgage off with every trade. Get your sushi dinner for 2 or whatever. Think in those terms of that to get paid off. Again, this was only a small 500 share position, so that was that. I did watch it at the beginning, and there was a little bit of a dip here, but not there was no volume behind it. I mean, you could have played this, but I don't even know where there was support there to. No, see, I didn't see anything there. If we go back, I think this was this was a new. It was hard to find any previous support, so tank on the open. All right, next thing we went to was HTZ, and this stock, if depending on your account size and what you look for, has been an awesome chart to trade because it likes to bounce off of previous support and tank off of previous resistance areas. Now, this is a larger cap stock. Is this a 1 minute chart? Yeah. And so it's going to move pretty much with the market. So it might be a good idea. All right, hold on. I have to enable the left axis here. All right, so this is the S&P 500. And I recommend if you're going to be watching larger cap stocks, this might be nothing new, that if you're either watching CNBC, know what the majors are doing. All right, if you're following a small cap gold stock or energy stock, you can add, the gold futures or oil futures on here because they tend to mimic each other. All right, but as far as HTZ goes, these previous lines that I have on here are previous areas of support and resistance, and there's quite a few of them because HTZ likes to bounce off these areas or get turned away from. So this 1550 area had been hit. Probably need to back up a little more. A couple times right here and right here. Now these may look like a lot, but these are 40 and 50 cents, about 30 to 50 cent moves. from one area to the next, and I'll take 30 or 40 or 50 cents all day long. So let me get back to the 1 minute. So where'd we go? Here we are. So the 1550, S&P was making a move back up, so a little bit of strength was starting to come back in, along with this is Hertz. They were bouncing off this 1550. You had this exhaustion, big selling coming in, and I was watching this for a long time. I was looking for some kind of recovery, because if I was going to short this, should have shorted it back up here. Okay, this is a nice short also, but I was getting on the verge of being done for the day because the major markets were down, and Fridays are hard to trade anyway. So lots and lots and lots of selling that's coming in here. And then finally at this 1550 area, selling volume cools down quite a bit, and a little bit of buying starts perking up again. All right, so what I see is a bounce forming up, watching level 2. Get in at this 1563. Hertz. Sorry, this is a screenshot thing. Doesn't have a 1563. I was looking for it to try to get back to this $16 level from this previous hit right here, where the VWAP was also. I was only looking for 20 cents. And this is the price bar that I got out on, because that's my 20. It's a crappy day. So we ran up here, made 20 cents, and get out. Again, you're not paying the mortgage off with every trade, but as you can see, price actually came back down to this area. This was a little tougher because you really had you had some volume steadily coming in here, but this would have been, if this was a longer or bigger position, this was 800 shares. If this was maybe like a 1,500 or 2,000 lot position, I probably would have taken off 2/3 of it here, brought the other 1/3 or 1/2 to break even, and just to let this work to see what would have happened. But either way, my remaining shares, I never let that go into the negative. Always, if you're going to get stopped out at even or better. Okay, so you don't let those secondary profits eat into your initial profit move. But this made its move back to the 16 area, sort of this double toppy area, and big push to get it through it, got negated, and selling comes back in right at this 16 area. That would have been a nice short for, there's 40 cents. So these moves in between here, like I said, 55, 45 cents. 97, that's 30 cents. This is 30 or 25 cents. HTZ is a very good ranging stock to keep an eye on. It might put in a little recovery next week. There was Friday, because this was moving. This was a beast. Okay, and this has been riding the 8. This is my 8 EMA. I use this. Some people use the 9, but years ago when I was trading Forex, the 8 I call this riding the 8, and you have these gaps where it pulls away, where it wants to come back down from. Opposite when it's running on the short side of things, you have these big gaps. It just likes to come back into it. And I was posting on the Forex Factory, and this was maybe 8-9 years ago, about this exact same thing. I even wrote an indicator for MetaTrader that highlights these areas. But anyway, HTZ has been a beast. Been running up very well. So we're going to see how this plays out. RSI was way up there. This was above 90, I think, sometimes. So I was looking for it to come back down, but that was a little bit of a pop there, or a bounce off the support after this big exhaustion selling. So our last one, VIPs, learned a few things today. This was strictly a pattern bounce play that I was looking for. This is a higher cap stock that was up on the day on a relatively crappy day, halfway decent chart, coming off a bounce itself, moving back up, but it's kind of this doji star. This is indecision about which way price wants to go, and I was just looking for a move up. However, this is Friday's volume. very crappy. I didn't take note of that, and there's a few other things that need to be aware of, especially on these larger cap stocks. These are usually going to move in the morning. If you're going to get in on these bigger price, bigger float stocks, going with the trend that what's going on a Friday afternoon when it's going to be less volume most likely, and it's late in the day, and your level 2 is showing, several thousand trades at each bid on market makers, on the bid and the ask on both sides. It's going to take a lot to get something this big moving. All right, and I got in at, it was 28 minutes before the close. All right, I'm not going to do this again. Where'd we get? I got in at 12:04, I think. Bought at 12:04, yeah. And all I was looking for was a move back up to this, this 17 area. All right. I should have known or taken note that it takes a while to move. I do know this. It takes a while to move these larger float stocks, larger cap stocks. But I was just tuned into this chart waiting for something to happen. You see the S&P makes this strong move up towards the end, which it can do. But people have to be interested in the stock for it to move also. I was looking for this 12:03 break to happen, watching level 2. Volume spike comes in. I don't like buying at the end of the bar, or I actually do, but this was a big move. I wanted it to come down a little bit, and I got filled at 12:04. I was hoping it was going to continue because that's the largest move all day, I believe. And I was thinking, well, there was one here, but it was in the morning to get it moving. And I was thinking, okay, people are going to get interested. It's going to go up. What you think is going to happen is not always what happens as usual. But this got stuck, and I was giving it some time, and got out, 2 minutes before the close. So this was pretty much a scratch trade. But again, all this was a pattern. Another bottom bounce like HTZ. All right, it's holding up at this support resistance area pretty well. It just made the move late, and I didn't recognize, or I just wasn't thinking straight on this trade. But either way, I probably lost commission on this, and that was it, $10 or whatever. So that was it for Friday. I'm hoping that my connectivity issues are going to be back to normal on Monday. If not, I'm going to look into that. I will look into that Verizon signal booster. I think you can, if you get on Verizon and check it out, you can get 7 people on there, and you can whitelist the phone number, meaning you can allow for 7 specific phones to use it. So either way, the VIPS and the HTZ, they weren't chat room plays. And I know Tear was on a tear, but I wasn't watching it. I was watching my own thing. And if you are constantly relying on other people for chat room advice or plays, then you're not learning anything. You got to rely on yourself. When I actually started looking at Tear, or got notice of it, I think it was in this area, because I was still watching Plug a little bit, and then I looked at a chat room real quick to see what was going on, and this is what people were talking about. But I mean, this was a nice chart to get in on. You never know where the top is going to be. Probably didn't know about things right here because nothing was going on. Then you get this volume spike, and it tricks up a little bit. But if you play, bull flags while things are running are good places to get into. So you probably had a couple entries here, but this was really quick. Anyway, I did watch it towards the end of the day, but it didn't do anything. So again, if you're relying on other people to do your work for you, you're not trading. You got to do things on your own. Anyway, that's it. Going to put a watch list together. Probably going to post that tomorrow, because it's time to go out and have fun right now. So peace out, and we'll catch up with you guys later. But again, that's Friday's info, and let's make some money next week. Right on.